Welcome, Mr. Denome, and welcome to this crypto update. Now, as you can see, Bitcoin is now $107,000. So we are following my path that I showed you guys in the previous crypto update. And I think we might go a little bit higher still. And then there's a massive liquidation zone here at $111,000, which I will show you in this video. But there's another one here, basically right below 100K that I will also show. But right now we're still following the plan here. And the situation why I think we will see a pullback is because of traditional markets. That seems to be the catalyst, because when I hop over to the S&P 500 index, we have a bearish divergence here on the chart. So as you can see, the RSI had a lower high, while the price had a higher high, and that shows a momentum shift, and most likely that means a move to the downside. Also, if you simply draw a trend line here, you can see that it would just make sense that the traditional markets would have a pullback. And now because of the Iran-Israel escalation, that is another reason why I think the traditional markets will be heading down maybe this week and also maybe next week. And if we look at the institutional investors in the stock markets, one key indicator to look at is what is the smart money doing with their capital. So investors have been withdrawing capital from US equity funds basically during May. So there was an $18 billion outflow during May, which is the largest outflow since April 2024. And also on the first week of June, there was also a $4.2 billion withdrawal from US equities. So the outflows are there. Price kept continuing to go up, so most likely the pullback is about to happen and is around the corner. So be careful if you are invested in the stock markets, and this might actually spill over to the crypto markets as well. So that's why I think the markets are heading down, even though we had this spike to the upside. So be careful here during the next week or two. Maybe consider taking some capital out of the out of your leverage, and be careful when you manage your positions. But all in all, the bull market is still intact, and all of the current events, global events, they are still bullish for Bitcoin, that I will talk about in this video as well. But that's basically my technical analysis for this video. Now, before I show the fundamental analysis as well, I just want to give a big shout out to Ethereum Foundation. So Roman Storm, who is currently fighting a legal battle against the United States, he was the founder of Tornado Cash, that basically allowed you to anonymize your Ethereum transactions. And then he got a heavy fire from the United States government, and now he's facing prosecution. Ethereum Foundation donated $500,000 to that cause. So I hope he wins, because if he wins, that will be a huge win for privacy in the United States. So hopefully this will turn into a good situation for us. Now, for fundamentals, let's first take a look at the ETF inflows. As you can see, at the end of last week, we got a lot of inflows into the ETFs, which is nice to see. This week, I think we will see outflows once again a little bit, as the real world markets have their shakeout, and most likely Bitcoin will have go down with it just a little bit, and then I think there's going to be a decoupling of the US stock market and the Bitcoin afterwards, most likely. I will talk about that soon. I don't want to spill the beans yet, but fundamentally speaking, when we look at the charts here on sentiment.net, what we can see is more Bitcoin has been entering the exchanges, unfortunately, and this typically is a signal that they are basically ready to sell their Bitcoin in the coming days and weeks. So this is not good, obviously, but I'm just reporting as it is here. And then on the stablecoin front, let's wait until this actually updates. We did have more stablecoins, so about $1 billion more stablecoins than my last update. We're still basically on the same speed of roughly $2 billion of more stablecoins per week, which is just a massive rapid pace of new stablecoins being minted. Nothing too interesting here that I saw. Otherwise, on the fundamental front, when we go and take a look at the spot order book death, here we do have an update which is not too great, which is that during this small pump to the upside, we're starting to see a lot of sell pressure entering the order books. So now the delta is negative $90 million more limit sell orders than limit buy orders. So that is not great. Also, the futures markets have gone negative as well. So most likely, unless there's a big catalyst coming, I think the Bitcoin market is heading down as well, and crypto markets with them. When we look at the liquidation heat map, we have this liquidation zone forming here above $111,000, stretching all the way up to almost $114,000. So that's just a matter of time before we get there. But then we have this massive liquidation zone, basically below 100K, that, in my opinion, will get tagged most likely this or the next week. So this is the scary part. Now, we did see more Bitcoin purchases from companies, not too many, but MetaPlanet, who is basically vowing to buy 1% of the Bitcoin supply, they bought another 1,112 Bitcoin worth $117 million in total. So that was nice to see. Also, Michael Saylor says that bigger dots are better. So this week we might actually see a bigger purchase basically within the next 12 to 24 hours. So these people are helping Bitcoin be stable, obviously. So those were basically the good news for Bitcoin. Now, from now until the end of the video, I will talk about the situation with Iran and Israel. And there has been major escalations and there has been de-escalations. But before I get there, remember, guys, to sign up for Phemex.com if you haven't, and you're looking for an exchange to maybe diversify your portfolio, look for another exchange to have a backup exchange, or even if you want to enjoy the lower fees, then Phemex.com is a great exchange for that. And when you sign up using my affiliate code, you get extremely low fees, basically half the fees that you have on exchanges like Bybit.com, and you are eligible for $4,800 in welcome rewards as well. That's the promotion. Now let's actually talk about the Iran-Israel war. So what happened is that more countries are basically joining in. So the Houthis from Yemen, they are now calling for Arab nations and Muslim nations to back Iran against Israel. And this is no surprise, even though Donald Trump said that they basically beat Yemen to the ground with their strikes earlier this year. When I was looking at the situation, that, in my opinion, was not the case. Yemen actually inflicted significant damage, hundreds of millions of dollars in damage against the United States. And they were able to take down the Predator drones. They were almost able to sink a carrier ship of United States. And they have a lot of fighting capacity. So obviously they will be helping Iran. But some other Muslim nations may also come in Iran's help. Now, Russia, China, North Korea have also basically said that Israel did wrong here and they should de-escalate, and Iran is completely right to fight back and strike back at Israel. But all in all, they hope for de-escalation. So we know where the battle lines are being drawn, and it seems like Trump and Putin had a call together. And what I expect happened in that call, because before the call, Trump was very hawkish against Iran. After having a call with Putin, it seemed like Putin said that don't go into Iran. If you go there, we will be backing Iran. China will be backing Iran. And if it goes into a war of attrition, everybody knows that Russia and China have a higher industrial capacity as of 2025, so they will be able to outproduce the West in total if they go into that front, and that will be very, very close to a World War III, because if Russia and USA go into a direct fight with each other, and then it's pretty much game over for the planet. So hopefully it doesn't get there, but most likely, even though Israel thought they will win, they are able to cut off the head of the snake. That wasn't the case. Iran was able to replace its commanders, and they were able to initiate this counterstrike against Israel. And these missiles have been flying daily. They are very beautiful to look at, but it is a horror show. These strikes are going into Israel right now, and you can see a lot of these explosions everywhere. And the some of the Israel's air defense capabilities were destroyed, and they are being able to bypass the air defense systems as well. So Israel, they thought that the Iron Dome will protect them, but it seems like Iran has been able to develop new weapons, strategies to bypass those defenses. So right now, Israel is calling for United States to come in their help, but United States so far has said no. But let's see what will happen, because I suspect that Israel has a massive uh, incentive to create a false flag attack against United States, and then United States might come in Israel's aid. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but that is the big problem that could happen. And obviously, if this gets out of hand, then it's pretty much bye-bye for our crypto assets as well. So I'm just telling you guys what the situation is on the ground right now, and I hope things do not escalate from here. Now, what is very worrying to me is what is going on with the leadership in the United States, because after the attack against Iran, the first preemptive attack, Donald Trump made interesting statements that basically make it look like that United States was actually part of the attack against Iran. Because here you can see that Donald Trump on the 13th of June says that I gave Iran a chance to make a deal. USA has the most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world, and Israel has a lot of our equipment, with much more to come. So this is pledging support for Israel. And he says that certain Iranian hardliners spoke bravely, and now they are all dead. And this will only get worse for Iran. No more death, no more destruction. Just do the deal before it is too late. And also, that wasn't enough. In my opinion, this also already made it look like United States was actually behind these attacks. But no, then he went and made another statement saying that 60 days ago, I gave an ultimatum for Iran to make a deal. Today is day 61. I told them what to do, but they just couldn't get there. Now they have perhaps a second chance. So these came right after the attack. And in my opinion, both of these together, it just shows to me that USA is completely in on the action. And then obviously Ted Cruz here, who is I think a senator in United States, he basically said that these are the consequences for showing President Trump the middle finger. So this again is making USA complicit in these attacks, and that's still not enough. Then Netanyahu, right now, this actually just came out. This video here, he directly says that basically Donald Trump is the mastermind behind all of these attacks against Iran. So take a look at what he says here, because this is super important to understand what is his stance.
I want to talk about the nuclear threat, and I want to talk about President Trump. You just said Iran tried to assassinate President Trump twice. Do you have intel that the assassination attempts on President Trump were directly from Iran?
Through proxies, yes. Through their intel, yes. They want to kill him. Look, he's enemy number one. He's a decisive leader. He never took the path that others took to try to bargain with him in a way that is weak, giving them basically a pathway to enrich uranium, which means a pathway to the bomb, padding it with billions and billions of dollars. He took up this fake agreement and basically tore it up. He killed Qasem Soleimani. He said, made it very clear, including now, you cannot have a nuclear weapon, which means you cannot enrich. He's been very forceful. So for them, he's enemy number one.
Yeah.
Look, they also tried to kill me, but I'm his junior partner.
When did
they understand that President Trump is a great threat to Iran's plans to to weaponize nuclear weapons and use them.
When did you tell President Trump you were going to launch these strikes?
Look, I've been in constant contact with President Trump. We've known each other for many years. And obviously, we informed our American friends and President Trump, our great friend, ahead of time. We did. He knew about it, of course.
I mean, there were.
So there it is. He said basically that Iran was behind those two assassination attempts against Donald Trump. Also, Donald Trump threw out the fake nuclear treaty with Iran, and he said that Donald Trump is the number one threat against Iran, and Donald Trump is basically the head, the main target for Iran as well. So this sounds to me that Israel really wants the United States to go in directly and attack Iran. And also, he gave confessions here that United States knew about these attacks and pretty much also conducted these attacks together with Israel. So this is very, very scary stuff. And if you are a global from another country outside the West, from the global South, how can you ever trust United States again? Because if Iran was negotiating in good faith, on the eve of the negotiations, when they were supposed to have serious negotiations, 200 fighter jets go into Iran, blow up everything. They kill their negotiators, they kill their scientists, commanders, all these different people. And how can you ever trust to negotiate with the United States again? Because clearly, United States does not negotiate in good faith. That is the takeaway that every single country on the planet will take, that you cannot trust the United States for negotiations. So as a master negotiator, what Donald Trump is supposed to be, he basically showed everybody that he is an untrustworthy negotiating partner. So he demoted himself from the best negotiator to the worst negotiator on the planet. So from now on, this has completely shaken United States relationship with every nation on the planet. That that is the implication here. Now, if I was Donald Trump, what basically would be my only out of this situation is if they come out and say Israel crossed a red line here, and we will no longer support Israel at all. You are on your own. If they do that, then it would look like that Israel betrayed United States. Israel alone did these attacks, and that will still help save the relationship with United States and every other country on the planet. But if United States goes in and actually attacks Iran directly, that will mean that they will go into an attritional war because Iranians, it's a nation of 90 million people. They're very resilient, and it seems like they are very happy to go to war if that is the only out of this situation. And most likely in a war of attrition, like we've seen in Ukraine and Russia, Russia is basically winning the war of attrition on the ground. If the West also goes to another war of attrition, then it's basically it's going to be a defeat anyway. So if they get a negotiated out, in my opinion, the cards are now favoring Iran more than Israel, and United States is now in a difficult place, even though Donald Trump he got $100 million or $200 million money from Israel, pro-Israel donors during his campaign. That's why he has been singing the songs for Israel. But I think now would be the time to divorce from that toxic relationship. But let's see if that will happen or not. False flag is a high probability right now. And if United States gets sucked into this conflict, I don't think United States is going to be one of the winners out of this conflict. And already they've done more harm than good for themselves. So that's basically the situation right now. Now, what is interesting after these tweets, basically Donald Trump celebrating these attacks and saying, okay, see, this is our capability, and there's no chance for you to basically retaliate, just do the deal. Clearly, what we can see from the footage is that Iran can and will retaliate. So now, what is funny in my opinion is that Donald Trump has now made a 180 and saying that the United States had nothing to do with the attacks. And if United States are attacked, then United States armed forces will come down on you, levels never seen before. Also, he says that Iran and Israel should make a deal, so he's still trying to make the deal done, and he's striving towards peace, supposedly, between Iran and Israel. Meetings are now taking place, and yada, yada, yada. So that's basically the situation here. Donald Trump now saying that they did not do the attacks, even though it's clear for every single person on the planet right now that they were at least in the know for the attacks before they happened. And I think what happened here is that this tweet is not meant for us. It is meant for Israel, that United States will not join the fight unless they are directly attacked. And this sets up that false flag alert, that if they are attacked, then they will come down. This is a massive incentive for Israel to arrange some kind of a false flag attack. Obviously, Iran has zero incentive to attack United States. They don't want to get it escalated. But if it does escalate, they know it is most likely a false flag attack anyway, and they will deal with whatever is the outcome. So now we're basically playing with a nuclear war potentially. In a war of attrition, Iran will win most likely. I will bet 90% that Iran will win, or at least Iran will not die in a war of attrition against Israel and the United States. But if Israel starts to lose, then one of the only ways they can win at that stage is a nuclear bomb. And if that were to be launched, then Israel and the United States will most likely lose on that event as well. But then we're basically at the end, or very close to a nuclear holocaust for the planet. So hopefully we will not get there. Now, all of this said, what I believe will happen next is they will resume the negotiations. It's clear that United States wants to de-escalate this. It is clear that their intent is to not get into a huge war, whereas the intent for Netanyahu is to get into a hot war, get the United States into a hot war, saying that Donald Trump toward the fake agreement with Iran, and saying that Donald Trump is behind these attacks, all these things. So now it's interesting to see over the next couple of weeks, what will Donald Trump do? What will the United States do? Will they divorce from Israel, or will they be sucked into a 5-year, 10-year war, where most likely there's no chance that they will come out on top anyway? So it's interesting to see. All of this is pretty much bullish for Bitcoin, but for altcoins, obviously this is creating a lot of risk. And if this gets out of hand, then most likely people will want to take their capital and put it somewhere else rather than some risky meme coins. But all in all, this is basically my update for you guys today. And I hope for peace between these two nations and for things to de-escalate. But let's see. In the future, again, I will most likely not talk about this conflict, because the foundations that I laid out in these couple of last updates, they will not change. These are the building blocks, and from now on it's going to be tit for tat until somebody makes a political decision to either de-escalate or escalate further. Then I might talk about this again. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video, and bye-bye.